Hey everybody, welcome to Buddy Spirits and Cigars. Today we're going to go over Russell's 13 year. This is batch number 3. Haven't had it yet. I just hearsay on the market and in bourbon groups, this is the least favorite of the 3 batches that have been produced. But I'm going to form my own opinion and see what I think about it. And apparently somebody does like it. If you'll notice, half the bottle's gone. So I guess we'll get into it and see what we think. This is non-chill filtered and like I said, 13 years old. So pretty excited to try it. Let's get after it.
Wild.
This would be the first Russell's something that I've enjoyed if I do enjoy this.
Oh, you're about to be spoiled then.
I'm not a Russell's fan.
So I have bias on this bottle.
We can tell by half of it being gone.
Well, not only that, but so I had to work the day that this was dropping in town. And Mackenzie knew, like I was like brokenhearted, right?
Did you get this from Mary's Tahlequah?
Yeah. And so I had to work. She wakes up right after I leave, gets in line for this, waits 4.5 to 5 hours, buys it, and then surprises me on our anniversary. So I'm biased.
Man, you got to put a ring on that if you haven't yet. I mean, it's got to be, that's solid.
I've made her a
There's
promise.
Not very many people that date a chick that would be willing to do that.
I've made her a promise it will be within the next 7 years.
That's solid.
I mean, that's fair.
That's a timeline.
With the economy and
I mean, at least it's a timeline, P-Dub. I know you're laughing, but at least it's a timeline.
you know, you got the economy and you got
No, I agree with this.
COVID.
Yeah.
And who's in office right now? You know, it's just not the best time.
Huh.
The economy.
This is 114.8 proof, by the way. I meant to say that earlier and I forgot.
Sometimes you think that might mean to speed things up.
Yeah, but the economy and stuff, you can't really.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Do it on the show.
But let me.
Let's make an episode.
Yeah. let me be the devil's advocate for a second. Speaking of the economy and how hard times may be. You are a single white boy paying the highest amount of taxes.
Speaking to my heart.
So marriage will cut that down.
Oh, that's true. I would do it for the tax write-off.
I mean, you might cut the 7 years maybe to 3.5 or something.
I might go 5.
It makes having kids worth it, it seems.
So you're open into bargaining at least.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, she keeps doing shit like this.
That's going to cut your time down,
I mean,
Mackenzie.
come on.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's the way to the man's heart right there. Mm-hmm. Somebody that likes bourbon, the way to their heart, you do stuff like this, you might just find yourself moving that timeline up a little bit.
Within the next 7 years.
Russell's 13. Let's get it.
He's trying to hang on to that hair.
Yeah. I had hair when I got married.
I don't
Now
believe it. He had stubble.
it's not quite so much there. No, I could actually fix my hair. I had enough to put gel in it, everything. I'm telling you, I will show a picture.
It's like the Donald J come over.
No.
It's gonna be like this Photoshop.
It wasn't
picture.
a comb over either. No, I'm serious. I'll share the legit picture so that you can see that I actually had hair.
Okay. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
It's gonna be like this picture. He's gonna have like a mullet or something next to an IROC.
So the nose on this is super fruity forward for me. There's a lot of red fruit, floral. The nose is just really, really good to me.
Red fruit. What would be a red fruit?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah.
Strawberries, raspberries,
Yeah. Stuff like that.
fruits.
It's like
that
a sweet red fruit.
are red.
You just got the fruits narrowed down to a color category.
And I get a little bit of caramel in there.
Well,
on the
because
nose.
red fruits have their own taste profile.
They do. You can't just say fruit.
That covers a lot.
Well, it's 2023.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, so basically is what I'm saying is I really like the nose. Turk, what do you think about the nose?
I tried it already because
Oh.
I just wanted to.
Skip?
Yeah.
Peta, what?
I smelled it too, though. I think it has a pleasant nose.
Yeah. It's real red fruit forward.
He's awake over there.
And
that's solid.
the palate comes through for me. There's a lot of fruit there, red fruit. There's I get a vanilla, maybe a hint of caramel on it. It gets a lot of my palate, but it has that good hug too. And it doesn't dissipate. It doesn't finish extremely quickly. It hangs around a little while. I'm just in love with this. This is one of the best bottles I've had last year.
After tasting it, the vanilla comes through on the nose as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like insane, but it does come through.
Yep. And 114 proof. I mean, barrel proof or whatever they're calling it. It's phenomenal to me.
I like it. I think it's good. You think it's spicy?
On a scale of toothpaste? We doing the toothpaste?
Here we go.
No. I wouldn't say it's spicy. It's got spice. It's got. I mean, but I wouldn't say it's hard.
I think it just has a good
spice.
hug. I don't think there's. To me, there's not. It's not like a rye spice or anything to me.
I think to me it concentrates on the front of the palate, and then it kind of goes. It transitions to the back of the palate, and then it's like, oh, there's the hug.
Like for me, I can taste one and be like, oh, this is good. But like the bottles that I love, like this Stag Junior, 107, the Eagle Rare, the Knob Creek Store Pick, stuff like that. My mouth salivates so much more when I drink like those because I just love them. Do you guys ever notice that? Is that something that happens with you guys?
I've never thought about putting a level on my salivation.
Well, I mean, but you know what I mean. Like when you're
Give this a
eating,
3.
when you're eating and you eat something you really like, you naturally salivate more. That's like when I smoke a really good cigar, I'll notice like,
The science.
I don't know. Steve Saka said it's a thing, so I believe him. He's like that's how he does some of his blends on his cigars. It's like the more I salivate on a blend, the better I know it is.
We're just getting inside of Dawson's review.
Yeah,
Man, it hugs that glass for a long time.
it's got some legs, baby.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's pretty viscous. It really does. No, I like it. I think it's pretty good. I mean, and if I haven't had the other two batches, so I can't personally speak on those, but if this was the worst out of the three, then those other ones have got to be phenomenal.
Dude, I can only
I'm going to
imagine.
use your word, phenomenal.
Yeah, this is phenomenal to me. I can only imagine what the other two batches are if they're better than this.
It's going to be hard for you to keep your bias out of.
True, and you'll see it when I rate it. But I've blinded it, and it's 1.
There you go.
So
Blinded it with what?
Stag Junior, a 107, and a Knob Creek Store Pick.
Man, I feel those are some pretty distinct differences in all those. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
Yeah,
be curious if you could blind those and label each one blindly. I feel like the Stag you could. The 107.
yeah, probably. But those are some of my favorites. You know what I mean? So I blinded it with it, and I need to throw my Weller Foolproof in it and do it with that. That'd be a fun one. But
Why? So you can crap on it again?
Foolproof?
Is that the one that he?
No, that was
It
12.
was 12 year that he
12
crapped
year,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here we go. My score is 4.5.
Whoa.
It's one of the. It's like I said. It's one of the best bottles I've had last year.
Whoa.
I think it's better than the Knob Creek Store Pick. No offense to Liquids, because that was freaking banger.
After that rant he had a while back, I feel like we can't be those whiskey douches and let him have his 4.5.
Well, I'm not going to let him have the 4.5 as far as my review goes because it's not a 4.5. We haven't done it on the show yet, and I'm trying to bring myself to open the bottle. But my very favorite bourbon to date is 93 proof. I know that's shocking because you like to say I'm a proof whore all the time.
Most of the time we are.
Well, 93 proof. That's for that episode.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to reveal.
I'm not saying that this is going to be your favorite bourbon you've ever had.
No, I get it. And for me, that's a 4.75. And when we get to that episode, you guys, I know this one over here likes it a lot as well.
What would it be, Dawson? Like your grandpa would say, like a puppy with 2 Peters?
That's right.
Oh yeah, you give me a bottle of that.
This one here, man,
I wish you didn't mention that one because now I think that lowered my rating on this.
sorry.
Just thinking about how
Sorry.
good that one.
See, they're bringing in bias, y'all.
No,
no.
you just brought in like a master class bourbon.
This one here for me, I'm not at a 4.5. I mean, but our palates are different. It is what it is.
True. And I really,
It's good.
this is one of my favorites because the fruit and the sweetness of it, that's like that's one of my favorite bourbon. Like that's what I look for. I don't look for like a lot of oak and wood and earth. And like, I love the red fruit. That flavor profile is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, man,
Raisiny.
I'm going to say I'm at 3.75. I can't do a 4.5. It's just not there for me.
I get it.
But it's good. This is good. I can't crap on it. What was the price point? Do you remember?
$95.
95. Yeah, I didn't know that. Let me put that into my review. I'm going to say 3.5. I got to change to 3.5 because I didn't know the price point. That does factor in on things. I don't think this beats the Liquids Knob Creek store pick. That's just my opinion. So 3.5 is my final offer.
I'm going 3.5 also, and that's for me coming from this distillery. That's good.
Yeah,
that's high for me for this because the others I crap on, like they're not for me. But this, I'm going with 3.5. It's a solid pour.
I don't know. I think this is one of the better-ish whiskeys you can get for that price range.
I could see someone really enjoying this.
You know what I mean? Like I've paid $100 for a lot of stuff that this beats. Like a lot of stuff.
100%.
A lot of stuff.
The Peerless smokes it.
Yeah.
Same price point.
Yeah.
All of this all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I that's just me. I know I'm comparing this to a lot of the bottles I've spent that money on, and I'm gonna cry when it's gone.
But this also $30 bottle set right there with this.
Yeah, I think that's anything. You know?
That's
I mean,
true.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't opened my, Willet Purple Top or my Old Fits and stuff like that. I'm sure they are great, and I'm sure they're better than $30 bottles, sure. But is it worth it? I don't know. That's just to each their own,
So here, maybe, excuse me, maybe a year ago now, somewhere around this time of year last year, we paid, what was it? We bought the Pendleton 20 year.
Not worth it.
And what was it, like $250? Something like that. And
She wasn't cheap.
and we like Pendleton, the 12 year rye, man. That's for 40 bones. That's solid. It's solid pick.
Yeah.
Which with that you did get like a nice box and custom leather and the
the presentation,
some of the price.
the
but
presentation was great. I agree
the
with
juice
P-Dub.
is what matters, though, and the juice wasn't there.
Yeah,
It's that Canadian whiskey.
I agree with P-Dub. The presentation was awesome. But I can say that the most, not all, but most of the whiskeys, bourbons, things that we have done on this channel that have been over $100 are not worth it.
Oh, no.
Most.
Yeah.
Right.
Not all, but most.
So I think with all, I'm going to lump cigars into this too, and I think you'll probably agree. When you're talking premium cigars and premium spirits, I'll go as far to say spirits because I know people like scotches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a base price to where you can get mostly everything you're gonna taste is good. right? So let's just say $30. Okay, you can go buy a $30 bourbon, and it's a solid pour a majority of the time, right? Knob Creek 9, Wild Turkey 101, Russell's 10-year,
and available.
right? A lot of those are good. They're to that 80 to 90% on your scale of 100, right? When you start spending, your 100, 200, 300, and for cigars, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, $40 on that cigar, and just that extra money, you're not getting that extra 80% because you're already there. You're getting that last 10, 15, 20% that they can squeeze into that juice. So no, it's not going to be 10 times better and worth the price, right? But if you're a true aficionado, I'm going to call it, it may not be worth it, but that juice is usually better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's got that extra
10%.
We'll say extra 10 to 20%, since you said 80.
Right.
It's got to be the addition to the run-of-the-mill stuff has to be enough to make that an over-the-top cigar or spirit, whatever it is.
Right.
That's where that extra 10 to 20% comes in. And for me, on this channel, period, those ones that we've had so far that have been 1, 2, maybe 3. Hey, fool.
Man, Turpin's been recently sick too. You're rolling the dice.
Yeah. Sinus infection.
The booze kills
crazy.
it. The proofing will kill it.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're just not worth it. Now, we done Blood Oath, last year's Blood Oath. To me,
Excellent.
That was worth it. I enjoyed it, and it was awesome.
But the Blood Oath also had the extra on good juice in it. You had good packaging. It's also got that awesome collectability to it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that extra 10%,
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be 10 times better.
I'm just kind of giving an example. That was a little more over the top and kind of brought in the price point in that
I'd do it
sense,
again.
Right.
I'd do it again as well. But for the majority of those things, man, they just haven't been there. And a lot of people are like, I can't afford that, or is it worth the money? And most of the time, I can say, what would you say, P-Dub? What, 85, 90% of the ones that we have that are over $100, over $125, they're not worth it.
For sure. Yeah.
And there's several that we've done, and I'm not talking secondary market prices. I'm talking about these are MSRPs as they sit on the shelf. Well, not on the shelf, but if you get them at an allocated drop or whatever, they're not like they're just sitting there. You can go get them, but they're just not worth it. And if you find one that's worth it at that price point, man, you got to get every one of them you can.
Mm-hmm.
And but I agree with you. You do have. It's not that it's 2 or 3 times better, but is it going to bring it over the top? That extra 10 to 20%, is it going to bring it over the top to where you're like, yeah, I'll give over $100 for that particular spirit or cigar or whatever the case is, because it's just that good to me.
Right.
I agree with you on that.
No, I'm just saying, like that price point, usually you're squeezing out that last 10 to 20% on the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like again, cigars. A lot of the Arturo Fuente stuff we smoke, that's not an Opus, right? They're great smokes, right? But you pay that little extra, right? It's an 80% great smoke, right? But it may not be as smooth, or the flavors may not be robust, or it may be a cheaper tobacco, whatever the case may be. And then you spend that little $10, $15 extra on some sort of Opus blend or something. And for me or you, I'm not everybody watching, but you guys have, brands you can relate with. It brings out just that extra, and it just, you know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, this is better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to you and your palate, it's worth that price. To me, that's not an over the top, like for me, like it is for you. I'd rather pay less money and get a Elijah Craig barrel proof, and like the C922 last year's batch of that is better to me than that.
True, but if you see one of those sitting on the shelf tomorrow, you're not passing it up.
I'm probably not going to pass it up.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you my druthers.
Right.
And that's just where I'm at with it. It's not a bad thing. Everybody's different, and as well as I do, I'm a big Elijah Craig fan.
Yeah.
I've got several extra bottles of that because that's just what hit home to me. I love that caramel, brown sugar, and all that kind of stuff. You like this one. You like those floral notes and the red fruits, and that's what you like better. I'm more of the brown sugar and caramel and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just the difference in palates. It doesn't mean anybody's wrong. That's just how it is.
Because there's going to be people that watch this video and go, Terp and P-Dub are idiots. And there's people going to watch this video and go, Dawson's an idiot. You know?
That's true.
Like,
Probably the later.
yeah.
The latter, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we can do is give our opinions, and that doesn't make us right, wrong, or you right or wrong if you don't agree. This is just how we feel, and that's all we're doing. Just giving how we feel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. This one might have ran a little longer, sorry, but pretty good debates and points being brought forward here on these kinds of things. This is my first time to have the Russell's 13, any offering of Russell's 13. I've had the 10s, I've had single barrels, store picks, all that stuff, and this is not bad by any means. So
And-
don't think I'm crapping on it. I'm not, but you know,
No, a 3.5's not crapping on it. That's
no,
for sure.
right?
I feel like you should try to save the rest of that for like a wedding day or like a bachelor party or something.
I'll find another one before then, I bet.
But it's not that one.
True.
That one is special.
That one
True.
is special. That's like what we talked
You know,
about, like a shelf
true.
bottle.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. Smash the like button and leave us a comment. Let us know if you've had Russell's 13 and what you think about it.
Have you had the previous batches? Are they better?
Yeah. And that's all we have time for this episode. Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.